precisely what kind of sacrifice you're asking them to make? Because you personally have experienced you have personally witnessed violent attacks on the plateau. What do you believe is really driving these conflicts? US is saying religion. We have heard narratives about land, cattle rustling. There is politics. What exactly have you identified to be at the root of all of this crisis?
Number one, we have weakened our policing system terribly. In the last 30 years, gradually police have been weakened, and the best people who have the best intelligence with civilians are the police. If our civil government will take a huge chunk of money they are spending in our houses of assembly and in their comfort and all of that, because young people are seeing how politicians, the best way now to make money is to be a politician. If the sacrifice from that end is made, believe me, we have a good police, and recruiting young men, particularly this generation, they are tech savvy. If you recruit them into the policing, we will reduce criminality and we will reduce the crisis before we even invite the armed forces. That is one area that sacrifice needs to be made. The second area that sacrifices need to be made is in our healthcare and education, because our educational systems of the have-nots, the poor, is completely eroded. If you go to many villages now, the schools in a sorry state. And that is the product of, in 10 years, the generations that will come and take over from us. Now, if they are already that devastated intellectually, and they are angry because what they see, when they come out, as they grow up, they will think to be stupid and to be ignorant is normal. And that is what we are getting right now. So that sacrifice needs to be made in the educational sector and in the healthcare sector. There is nowhere, even in families, when children know that their parents care for them, they will grow to be responsible. Unfortunately, our nation, we are looking at the poor as expendable commodity. It is I once preached in Abuja, and I said, I don't know how the politicians sit down and drink and eat. I saw the picture of this one young man in Zamfara. They were being chased away, and all he had was his goat, his wife, and his little baby. I cried. Because what does he want? He's not going to be a senator. He just wants to eat his daily bread. Yet these are the people who are daily being killed. If you tally the numbers, it's the poor of the poor that are being killed. Those are the numbers in the villages and everywhere. Now, the children of those poor and the poor are still in IDP camps. I'm talking about 10 years now. And if our civilian leadership do not care about the poor, they will grow up, believe me, very angry, and they will grow up to repeat the same things Boko Haram have done.
Well, the global conversation about security in Nigeria requires deeper reflection, and we have chosen to speak with someone who lives on the plateau and who's also retired bishop of the Anglican Diocese of Jos. We'll take a short break, Most Reverend, and we'll be back with more. Stay with us, everyone. Reverend Benjamin Kwashi, he is retired bishop of the Anglican Diocese of Jos. Thank you so much for staying with us on the program. Really, how does it feel to see the suffering of your people being debated at such high international levels, often without full understanding of the context and exactly what's happening?
Well, I'm a very sad pastor. I'm a very, very sad pastor. I remember we went to see the killings in Dogonahawa, the Archbishop Kagama and myself, where hundreds of people were massacred in 24 hours. There's a division of army there, there's police. Nobody came to the mercy of these people. And we watched the corpses there. We cried, the villagers cried until there were no more tears and no more voices. And it has been going on for years. So we've seen more funerals than naming ceremony. We've seen more funerals than weddings. There are weddings, yes, but there's more funerals on a daily basis. In fact, last week, 12 people, was it 4 days ago? 12 people were massacred again around Riyadh. So this is our daily weight. And each time these gunshots go out, for me, I just say another orphan is created. Another widow is created. Another devastating situation is created. Now, there's no reason for me to feel any otherwise than the calling God has called me as a pastor to comfort people. And that's all I can do. Now, the context is what I would prefer, sincerely, if the nation is serious about nation building, because we are creating for ourselves more angry young people growing up. And the devastation of land is just not good. Blood shedding, literally human sacrifice, is what we have witnessed in the last 10 years.